Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well and welcome to your checkpoint for June. I know I say this absolutely every checkpoint, but believe me, June has gone so quickly. But despite how quickly it's gone, a lot has happened. And I'll start with where I was at my last checkpoint. I was talking a lot about the exams, my end of years for college, and I'm pleased to report, got the grades back and I got A's in my subjects. It was a sigh of relief when those came through because it meant that all the work that I'd done, all of the revision actually paid off and it was worth it. So it was very good to hear. Just got to keep it up and hopefully do a bit better in the actual final exams. And then, I'll be off on my way to university. Speaking of which, that's what I spent quite a lot of this month doing. My family and I took quite a few trips up some different areas in England to look at some different universities. For example, we went up to Exeter, we went up to Durham, Oxford, and we've still got a couple that we're looking at, but these were some really fun trips and it was great to actually see them in person because quite a lot of what I was basing my opinion of them on was from online, what I'd seen, their courses and things like that. But actually going to get to see them was great because it changed a lot of my opinions. Some places I wasn't expecting to like, I absolutely loved, and then some places that I thought, oh, this would be for me, I didn't enjoy as much. So I'm still undecided which one's my absolute favourite, but I've got quite a few months until I have to actually apply. So we'll get more into that as the months go on, but it was a great start and it was very, very helpful to actually go and see these places. Something else huge that started this month is, of course, the Euros. For any of my viewers watching who are from Europe, then I'm sure you're watching along with me at these Euros. But in case you're not, in case you're maybe American or from somewhere else in the world, the Euros is a football competition held between, I believe it's 24 different countries in Europe, and of course I'm supporting England. There's a part of me that wants to say we actually have a really great chance of winning this year because we have an amazing squad. We have Harry Kane, we have Jude Bellingham, Bukayo Saka, we got Cole Palmer, we got our amazing keeper Pickford, we got Kyle Walker at right back. Theoretically, we have a really, really great squad, but the games that I've seen so far, the tournament's been going for about 2 weeks now, and the games I've seen England play so far, we haven't lost, but we should be doing so much better. I'm a bit apprehensive to say that we have a good shot of winning. We should do, in theory, but we really need to step up our game. And when this comes out tomorrow, we'll be playing our first game of the knockouts. So this could age really poorly and we could be out of the tournament, or we could have turned it around, had a great game today, and hopefully be on our way to doing a bit better. But I'd love to hear where you guys are from, if you're watching the Euros, who you're supporting. Even if you're not from Europe, I know a lot of people watching it who are just picking a team and supporting them. If I had to say who I genuinely think is going to win, then that would of course be Spain. They managed to get through the group stages with 3 wins, no draws, no losses. Someone on their team who I've been watching a lot is this kid called Lamine Yamal, and I can actually call him a kid because he's 16. He's playing for Spain, he's playing for his country at 16, which is really, really impressive. I've been watching a load of highlights of his and just tuning into the Spanish games to actually see him play because there's definitely a part of me that's envious of where he's at, the fact he's able to play for Spain and he's younger than me. But also it's just so impressive to watch his talent. He's going up against world-class players and doing really well. So if England weren't to win, then I wouldn't exactly be mad if Spain won because they are a very, very strong side. But until we're out, I'll of course be supporting England, just maybe a bit more quietly confident than confidently confident. As seems to be tradition with all these checkpoints, I have my Dark Souls 3 update. Last checkpoint, I don't think I'd beaten Sister Fried, and when I beat this boss, by the way, this boss has 3 phases, I think I explained it last time, but it's just completely crazy, and I think it's the boss in any Souls game that's given me the most trouble. And I've fought some pretty tough bosses. I beat the Orphan of Kos in Bloodborne, I beat Artorias Manus in Dark Souls 1, and quite a few bosses in Dark Souls 3 that I thought were impossible, Pontiff, Lothric and Lorien, which I talked about before. I thought they were going to be the hardest I'd face, but genuinely, Sister Fried was probably the hardest I've faced. Her 3rd phase isn't that difficult, it's just the fact you have to beat the first 2 phases every single time. You have to balance your healing, you can't get hit too much, otherwise you'll just be wasting your heals. And then the 3rd phase is just crazy. But after that I've gone on to beat the Guardian Wolf, that boss, and then the Demon Princes. That boss wasn't too difficult. I thought it would be a lot harder to manage 2 aggressive huge enemies at once, but luckily they sort of balanced the attack and defense of each other quite well, so that was a really fun fight. which means I'm sort of coming to the end of Dark Souls 3, and I genuinely thought I was at the end of it like 5 months ago, but it just keeps going, and the DLC is pretty big. So I've got this huge dragon called Midir left to fight. I don't know when or where I'll be fighting him, but I've heard he is like one of the toughest bosses in all of Souls, harder than Sister Fried, which is not fun to hear, but you know, it'll be a fun challenge. Hopefully I've come this far. Genuinely, that's what I keep telling myself, because I have beaten so many difficult bosses. And then I've got Slave Knight Gale left, and then the Solar Cinder. I believe those are the last 3 I had to fight. And even though I've been fairly busy this month, I have actually made some videos. I know, it's crazy. I put out my video on Hajime no Ippo, which I promised in the last checkpoint. I'm glad I actually was able to deliver on that, and you guys really enjoyed that. I'm very, very happy, not only with how I made the video, but I'm happy that it got to reach quite a lot of people, and everyone liked it. It has an 100% like to dislike ratio. Not that it's all about stats, but that just makes me really happy, because I did put a lot into that video. It meant a lot to me, so I'm very happy that people enjoyed it. Speaking of videos, I guess I'll talk about my inspiration for the month. But this is a YouTuber called Alex Arsu. That's probably pronounced wrong, but let's just call him Alex for simplicity's sake. This guy is super underrated. I don't really know why, but watching his videos really gives me a Ryan Trahan style vibe. If you've seen any of his videos, it'll be the I doubled my calories every day for 15 days. It's such a good thumbnail that I had to click on it, and I genuinely thought it would be some like irritating, you know, annoying content, but he's a really genuine person. He's funny, he has interesting ideas. That's just engaging content. Like, I don't really know how to say it, but he's just genuinely super underrated. He has 20k, and that is largely from this video, which massively took off, but I think a lot of his other videos are super underrated as well. So as always, I'll leave a link to him in the description and you guys can check him out. But I think part of the reason why he was a big inspiration for me this month is because this is the first month that I've actually started counting calories. If any of you remember this, I'd be pretty impressed, but back at the start of this year I did a resolutions video, and one of my resolutions for this year was to gain 3 kilograms, I believe it was, to put me up to 67 kilograms. Well, this month, just by counting my calories, working out how much I need to eat to gain weight, I've actually already managed to hit it. And you know, 3 kilograms isn't a lot, but I was able to do it practically just in this month alone. And originally I thought counting calories would be sort of a irritating, boring task that I had to input everything I eat, because I'm assuming a lot of people will use the app I'm using, MyFitnessPal. I'm assuming a lot of people will use that to be losing weight, and therefore, you know, their stance on it is they have to eat less so that they are eating less calories. But the way I look at it is, because I'm trying to gain weight, every time I eat something, it's like a little bonus, you know, I'm adding to my score for the day. And in case you're wondering, I'm trying to eat 3,190 calories a day, which sounds like quite a lot. That's because it's, you know, it's more than the average person should eat in a day. The average person has about 2,500 or should need about that much. I said in my resolution that if I hit 67, I would try and go for 71, which is another 4 kilograms. And I think I'm going to aim for 71 kilograms. So potentially, you know, not next checkpoint, but maybe in like 2 months, if I continue with the amount I'm eating, I could definitely hit it. All right, we actually had quite a lot to talk about, but let's go ahead and hit you guys with some of your checkpoints. All right, let's go ahead and read one from Cosmnick 2805. They said, I've been watching these checkpoints since last year in November, wow, and it's their first time commenting. The series inspired me to make my own private checkpoints since January, so thanks to the idea. To share something I did in May was finishing an Unreal Engine game development course that will hopefully pave the way for game development. Firstly, this is always something that really makes me happy with YouTube, but like, this person, it's their first time commenting on one of my videos, and they have just been watching them the whole time, right? I didn't even know that, but it means that I'm reaching people who don't necessarily comment, but still enjoy all of my content. It's even cooler that I've inspired this person to make their own checkpoints. That's really, really, really cool to think that like they sit down, you know, at the end of every month, record or maybe just write down what they've done, and that's because of me. That's because of something I've done. That's very, very cool to hear. And of course, congrats with your Unreal Engine game development course. Game development is, I think I've talked about it a little bit before, but game development is something that if I could do, I would really like to do, because the idea of making your own game is so cool. So if you've made any progress on that, you know, if you have maybe started thinking about ideas for a game you'd want to do or anything, please drop them in the comments, because I'd love to hear. And another checkpoint we'll read is from Tennis. Now, Tennis is a great person. This is somebody who I shouted out like a couple checkpoints ago, I think, because I was inspired by their content, and now they comment on my checkpoints, which is really cool to see. But this is an important one because they said that they've been hard on work making more YouTube videos, and they're really happy with the growth that they've been working towards for years. They also said how they want to start getting healthier, more fit, and doing rock climbing, which is a very cool activity. I did a lot of rock climbing when I was a kid. We had like a climbing wall fairly near where I lived. A lot of kids' birthday parties were held there, but I haven't really done any since, and to be honest, it would be quite fun to give that another go. It takes insane upper body strength, more than you think, I believe, so maybe we'll have to increase my weight before I can do that. But the other reason I'm talking about tennis is because he's hit 10k on YouTube. I think when I started watching him it was like 4k, but I think that was only a couple of months ago. So huge congratulations on the growth. Your content is so good. I always love tuning in, so it's no surprise to me that you've managed to grow this far, but huge congratulations. To be honest folks, I think that is pretty much all I have for you in this episode. I hope you have a great July. It's coming up to summer, so anyone who's in college or school, I hope you have an amazing summer off. Take a nice well-deserved break, and yeah, thanks so much for stopping by on this brief intermission in your life. Check out some of my other videos, and for now, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, have a good one.